Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great one lined up for you today. Listen to some of these headlines. The China ban on Bitcoin is continuing. We're going to cover it. Ripple Swell event is going to be coming up shortly. It gets here faster than you know. Flare Networks update. You're going to want it. SEC's crypto mom is now saying XRP doesn't have to be a security. Well, now this is aligning with a point I've been driving home on this channel for a long time. We're going to get into it. U.S. President met yesterday with federal regulators on the financial system. And a Ripple lawsuit update. You're going to want to know all about it. Let's go ahead and roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackUpBradleyAbove and everything that we're talking about here today. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. The market is really falling down now. The money now for the crypto space is 1.3 trillion plus. Wow. Off by headed towards $1.5 trillion is where we're headed now, right? So we're not far from it. So certainly 1.2 trillion is missing from the market at this point. We see Bitcoin stuck here right now, and well, currently everything's not stuck. It's falling 32,000 plus. Ethereum now under 2,000 at 1,900 plus, and we're looking at Cardano at $1.29 now. XRP at the number 6 spot, courtesy of dereliction of duty and intimidation tactics and possibly collusion. Hopefully we get an investigation into Jay Clayton and William Hinman. If you have not seen the video from yesterday, investigation time, please go watch that video and please politely tag Gary Gensler and the SEC and ask them to take up the petition that we all signed and start a full investigation into their activities. All right, let's get to the bottom of it. We are at 67 cents right now, and I don't mind telling you, this is a buy for me right here. Not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm so used to buying the dip. I'm going to go ahead and get this one too. I hope it stays there till the video's done. I ain't playing. All right, let's go ahead and get into the news. We're ranging actually 66 on the bottom side. At 67 was our price right now. The top side, we've been as high as 78 on the range. Again, that 65 cent mark is a support area for us. We'll see if we blow through it. If we do, we may run all the way back down to 45 cents. So if I buy the dip today, I'm going to buy with half of what I intended to in case it ends up going a little further below. If it doesn't, I'll probably catch it back again at 70. So that's just how I do it, not financial advice. So, all right, let's get into it here. We see from Hall of Famer Michael here that China's third largest bank has banned its customers from interacting with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, leading to massive price drops. That's exactly what we're seeing go on here. What I want to see is the solution. How do we come out the other side of this thing for Bitcoin? I think with regulations, probably some kind of carbon footprint tax, and then you're going to see some new startup companies that I'm almost certain that Kevin O'Leary will be a part of, which will have renewable, sustainable energy, right? And then we'll see this take off from a different way. So that's how I see it. That's just that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. This is DJ Peter Vass, another Hall of Famer here. It says, Swell 2021, November 9th and 10th is this perfect timing. You know, we could see a settlement in the case at any time. However, we are going to take a look at the update on the news of the Ripple case and see what the projections are. Now, a settlement could take place right now. It could happen today, right? But according to the timeline, we're going to hear from Jeremy Hogan on his thoughts on where this goes to catch us all up here. So let's keep this moving. This is a clip I wanted to bring out because we know over the weekend that Hugo had to cancel the option voting for us, and the option 2 for Flare was for a lower supply to be released, right? And then this came about where this is Mickey B. Fresh talking about that Flare network design before. Take the time and effort to research the Flare network design before making assumptions that lower supply is better. Well, I just want to simply say this, you know what I mean? That no one's making an assumption This was an option that was offered by the creator of the network. If it is a failed option, then that's on Hugo and the Flare team. Don't offer me something that you take back, right? That was never, apparently, according to Mickey, apparently never a solution to begin with. What the hell kind of, what is that? Right? So this isn't about us wanting to make assumptions. The only assumption I'm making is that Hugo and Flare Networks teams knows what the hell they're doing. And by me receiving the token, because I hold XRP, that I can benefit if I understand the full tax implication on what's going to be in my portfolio. It's pretty simple. I'm not the only, am I wrong to make the assumption that Hugo actually knows what the hell he's doing? Is that what we're to assume? Right? Don't put forth options that don't work. And if I have to start making the assumption that what you're putting forward doesn't work, what the hell am I about to receive anyway? Let's get beyond this. That's where I'm at, right? Let's get beyond this. This is getting a little crazy. What I am excited about is Flare Networks and XDC, because the network keeps getting bigger. And again, I've always made the assumption that Hugo and the Flare team are doing an incredible job. The only thing I want to know is how to understand my full tax implication on holding and receiving the Spark token. It's very simple. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why there has been a smear campaign and name calling for such an adult question. There isn't another thing that I hold in my portfolio that I've ever had to wonder what the tax implication was on it. Pretty simple, right? And I would think that the best thing to do is to make sure all of us as holders really are in the best position, because if we are going to become the people who are going to incentivize and really begin bringing utility to the network on day one, then I would like to think that there's some comfort in us knowing what we are assuming in this tax implication from the way the distribution would be. And by the way, I love Rob Licker's suggestion. I thought Rob Licker had a great suggestion. You do 100% up front, and then that's it. You don't have a tax implication. Now, I mean, I don't know if that gums up the works. I'm not the genius in all this. All I know is I trust Hugo to put forward the kind of options that not only work for us as holders and receivers of the token, but also work to be viable and scalable for the Flare Networks platform. That's my story. That's where I'm at. Now, here, moving on to this. This is a whole next level of mumbo jumbo going on here. This is SEC's Crypto Mom says Ripple XRP doesn't have to be a security. Well, she's absolutely right. And she doesn't need me to tell her. But this is what I've been saying for a long time, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Line 82 in the SEC complaint acknowledges pre-allocation or pre-contractual agreements that were not always for money. Ripple also undertook to achieve its goal of widespread distribution of XRP by exchanging XRP for non-cash consideration, such as labor and market-making services. This is not nefarious. They simply entered contracts with different players and people, and I believe those contracts were option contracts over the counter, OTC. Through the other XRP distributions, Ripple paid third parties to assist in its efforts to accomplish as widespread adoption of XRP as possible and to attempt to develop a use for XRP. They didn't attempt, they did it. And that's why they're being sued and not Dogecoin, right? It's also the first scenario where you have an entity that's actually behind the XRP token and the XRP Ledger protocol, which now has been separated to a non-profit foundation. Ripple has equity, private equity shares they sell in the company. You can buy XRP, which represents the ledger, right? So at the end of the day, what we have here is this. This is an article from back when Ripple and R3 were in bed together. right? And when they went to court, when they couldn't get along and things weren't working out, in September 2016, Ripple and R3 entered into an agreement whereby R3 promote Ripple to its consortium of banks. However, the lawsuit refers to the agreement as a technology provider agreement, TPA. Additionally, a separate option contract was created, which Ripple says was intended as compensation. The option gave R3 the right to buy 5 billion XRPs at 0.0085 at any point until September 2019. That sounds just like line 82, doesn't it? They had a pre-contractual agreement. They had pre-allocated a certain amount of XRP to R3. R3 tried to sue and get it all after not doing what they were supposed to do. However, on June 12th, 2017, Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, informed R3 it was terminating the agreement, allegedly on the basis R3 had not upheld its side of the bargain, which it obviously didn't. On that date, the XRP price was 28 cents and the option worth $1.35 billion. It appears the promotion contract failed to stipulate performance clauses such as the number of banks introduced by R3 to Ripple. Instead, there was a clause requiring both parties to act in good faith. There you go. In 2017, R3 sued Ripple in New York and Delaware to get the options contract reinstated. The options would have been worth just shy of $1 billion at that stage. On January 4th this year, Ripple hit the 367 mark. This was, during the first that bull run in 17-18. Options at 18.3 billion. At today's price, the option would have been worth 1.25. So there it goes. So that, and they didn't release the details of that. But if you ever wanted to understand what Hester Peirce is saying, I believe this is the way to understand it. It does appear that the contracts, the option contracts, if they did those just like they did with R3, just like they did with Greg Kidd and gave him an option contract on $1 billion float, right? So to me, the way this works out is this is the part where they get fined. Because the kind of contracts they had and agreements of pre-allocation, pre-contractual agreements, however you like to say it, actually took place. I just showed you evidence of that. It's not even an opinion anymore. The only thing we don't know is if they did that same style agreement option contract with other partners. And I would say the likelihood is pretty damn great, right? So let's get a fine for that. Let's settle that out and then let's move the hell on, right? That's what we're talking about here. So that's the information there. Now, I did want to say here, then that brings in XinFin. XDC becomes the leading token of value on the Corda network, which is R3's Corda platform. Thanks to DSL Crypto Bridge. It just goes on to talk about here how XDC network over the public of Corda network to be used as a settlement token inside the Corda ecosystem. So this means that if you look here, this is a video I did just a few days ago on June 16th, and I'm showing you the diagram here of the Corda settler, which still shows the ability to interact, settle with the XRP network with this right here that shows in the bottom here, the result of recent transaction, Company B has an obligation to pay some money to company denominated in USD. As the beneficiary of the settlement, Company A can choose the currency in which they'd like to be paid. In this case, Company A chooses XRP. So the XinFin system, the XDC token works on the Corda platform, but so does XRP. And they're both a choice and they will work together is the way you're seeing it right there. So no worries there. That's where I'm at on that one. So with that being said, this came from Baba Cugs and Jesus Tejero. Thank you to both of you guys, Hall of Famers there. And it says down here at 12:45, and I know this is extremely hard for you to read, so I'll read it because it was difficult for me. The president meets with lead financial regulators for an update on the state of the country's financial system and institutions. Now, this leads me to believe that we're seeing a moment arise that's much like this moment from back in the Clinton administration, which this is one of the first things they put forth when it came to the internet, right? The Telecommunications Act of 1996 that began to restructure and embracing the new protocols and technology of the internet, because this this tech had not been used or seen before ever, right? So then they had to start opening these things up, and this is where it really started, right? So this is what it reminds me of. This conversation is coming quickly and is developing quickly behind the scenes. We'll see how this goes, but I would expect something very similar in fashion to begin to unfold. We need some kind of a blockchain act of 2021, 2022, right? So we can see this tech and protocols be recognized from the same regulators that oversee everything else in the world, right? Well, that's a start anyway. So here we go. Looking at this Ripple settlement coming, legal experts reveal when XRP lawsuit could conclude. We've touched on this, but I just want to remind people that he goes into this, and this is Jeremy Hogan talking about when you'd see things end. He estimates when a discovery phase is likely to conclude, and thus when a settlement between Ripple and SEC could be reached. No settlement will happen until after the close of discovery. Could it settle before then? Yes. I just don't think it is likely. So any settlements is likely to be after at least the close of the fact of discovery, and that is now early September, and even more likely to be after October 16th. And if it doesn't settle, then he believes the two main issues will be decided by Judge Torres as such summary judgment. Looking at the summary judgment rule briefly, you can see that the motion for summary judgment must be filed within 30 days of the close of discovery. So that puts the parties competing for motions for summary judgment due no later than 30 days of close of all discovery, and that is in November 16th for us. He says if the case is not settled, Hogan predicts a series of back and forth responses to motions for summary judgment, extending the case beyond November and into 2022. He says, I don't see the case being decided at summary judgment until early 2022, maybe January. The lawyers say the SEC is likely in no rush to conclude the lawsuit, noting that the top regulator was just successfully granted a 2-month extension for the discovery process. So, and that was another thing he shed light on too, that said, that is more than likely given to the SEC by the judge. So the SEC doesn't have a reason to appeal this once it's resolved. So there we go. We could be looking into 2022 for a resolution on that. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Don't forget to check out, ladies and gentlemen, Unstoppable Domains. You buy $1 of domain purchases. Every $1 you spend is $3 promo credit. How about that one? And there's a ton of brand new domain names. Look at them. Just look at them. Make sure you check it out, and all the links in the description box in the comment section. And make sure to follow us on Facebook. I forgot to tell you that too. On Facebook, we are out here now, and we got a presence, almost 2,000 followers already. We just started last week, and there's hundreds and hundreds of videos from my library and all the current content there. So make sure you follow us there for exclusive lives. I meant to do one yesterday. I got hanging with the family, and it was just so fun we couldn't break away. So we will do something very soon for you guys on the Facebook page. I will catch all of you on the next one.